Ha! I bet you thought I was dead. I'm not dead. I just didn't post anything for a week. I'm sorry. If you're wondering why I'm wearing these glasses, it's because I've got a horrible pimply thing on my eye, and I want to make a video, but not make you sick. But let's look at the 2 episodes that were also 2-parters as an omnibus review episode thing. But first I'm going to look at them separately. I thought both episodes were, in their own right, brilliant. I don't know if they linked as well as I was hoping they would. Looking at the first episode, it was terrifying. I think out of this series, it's definitely one of the best episodes. I just thought it had the right amount of darkness. It had a clever plot that was weaving around. It felt very classic Doctor Who. It felt like we were just thrown into the action, which is what I like, as opposed to, setting up, oh, there's Clara, she's working at the school, let's get her out of the school and put her into, I'm just saying, it's nice to just be thrown straight into the action sometimes. I thought the ghosts, or whatever they came up with a name for them, I'm sorry I forgot, were brilliant. I loved the makeup of the eyes, it just is terrifying. And the fact they didn't just go straight for black eyes or something. There's that sort of bleeding black sort of goo within the eyes that it's almost like stars. Like they've got portals in their eyes into the emptiness of space. Because they're just so dead. Where's my cards? I can't just say dead like that, people get upset. And I wasn't too upset about this not being there because he wasn't just scanning the environment constantly. And instead the glasses actually felt natural. I thought they work as a scanning instrument. I don't know how they'll work on unlocking doors because you can't exactly go that'll look a bit strange. But as an instrument to scan text and look at things, I imagine there's readings on the Doctor's eyes, or seeing eyes. As always, Doctor Who's supporting cast never get as much as a look in as the Doctor and Clara, or whatever the companion is at the time, but I thought they were well written. I thought they had a great sort of chemistry between all of them. Of course, the rich dude, white guy, is gonna die first. It's written in the Doctor Who lore, basically. And I thought the deaths were brutal enough, but also subdued enough for a family-wide audience. You want to be scared out of your wits, but at the same time you don't want kids to actually have to, go to a psychiatrist. The set dressing was claustrophobic, and, looking at Doctor Who Extra where they showed you how they kept the lighting all with water refractions and reflections around the set was great. It felt like they were on an underwater base, which is very difficult to do when you're on land. And the cliffhanger was, sublime, and it made... my whole family, when I say my whole family, I just mean mum and dad, we were on the edge of our seat. We thought, what? No, surely they can't do that. And, spoilers, they didn't really do that. It was a hologram. Part 2 was a bit of a letdown, but the same thing happened with The Witch's Familiar. When you have such an outstanding Part 1, it's very difficult to top it with a second half. It was still a good episode. It tied up all the ends and all the questions that you might have had. The dark and mysterious creepy theme sort of disappeared because you had the Mole Man guy. Not the same one as the God Complex, but same writer, so whatever. You sort of cut through that mood, so if you watched them back to back, it would have felt a little bit strange having a highly comedic character. I mean, there was plenty of comedy from Capaldi and the supporting cast, but it felt a little bit jarring in a dark and mysterious sort of storyline. I thought the Fisher King was immense. It was, having such a tall guy in the costume definitely benefited, and it made it looming and terrifying, and I want to see more of it. It was just disappointing that it came in so late in the plot, and then sort of just didn't do anything apart from get drowned. But, they did what they did with the time, and I thought he was cool. The voice was really cool. I thought the way they revealed him was very clever. If there'd been more sort of hint drops throughout the episode, sort of like the classic series when you just sort of get glimpses of the monsters throughout the story, I might have, that reveal would have been better, as it was sort of just like a walk in the dark and then he just appeared. And it was good, it was mysterious, but it was short as well. I liked the way they handled death in both episodes, as I've said, and the way that the supporting cast, actually die. They're not, brought back to life by the end of it, which is something I like in Doctor Who, as the Doctor needs to teach kids, as a message that there are repercussions for your actions. I love the Matt Smith era. My favourite era is Matt Smith's one, so far. But, the deaths that didn't actually happen there was no consequences for a lot of the actions in the series, and this series I'm loving the way that everything is important. You know, like Danny is gone. He's not coming back, and it's something Clara's having to live with. There isn't too much of a development in terms of character for that, but you know, it you know, both shows Clara is stronger than, you know, that one incident, and she can move on. Clara did alright. First episode, I think she was more integral to the plot. I think the second episode could have easily done without the people on the base, because it sort of didn't matter. They were hiding in a cupboard for most of it. But it meant more time for Cass. I don't think, this is a big statement, but I don't think a female character, let alone one with a hearing impairment, has ever been handled this well in Doctor Who. It was just amazing. It was such a strong character, and she just had such power over basically everyone, and you know, even the Doctor stooped to, you know, allow himself to be told what to do by Cass, and I thought that was brilliant. I thought the way her hearing impairment actually works for the plot, she actually saved the day, because she worked out the Doctor was saying different things, and she, you know, worked out that the ghouls were saying specific words. It was brilliant. I loved it, and it was certainly a shift for Doctor Who's sort of basic plot lines. Not basic, but you know, the Doctor is the one that saves the day, and I love it when the supporting cast is involved. The guitar theme, yeah, I'll take it. It's good. I think it needs to be a little bit more weaved into the actual theme, as it's sort of just overlaid on the original Series 8 theme, but I think it's a cool thing to have the electric guitar in there, and especially because it relates to the Doctor. It makes it very Doctor specific, and that's cool. And I love guitar wielding Capaldi anyway, but more subtle from now on. Like, it was great in The Magician's Apprentice, and it was great in this, but if you keep throwing it in our face, I don't know, it might be like, bow ties are cool. It might get a bit worn out after a while, but I love it nonetheless. It does remind me of a certain thing from last year. But yes, overall I thought they were great stories. I don't know if they were better than the first two episodes, as I thought overall the second half of The Witch's Familiar was better than Before the Flood. I think this series has definitely started off as being brilliant. I don't know, maybe it'll top Series 5 for me, because Series 5 is still my favourite series, as it just sort of holds all the elements of Doctor Who in the darkness, humour, everything else that it might bring. But next week, there's the Game of Thrones girl. I'm not enlaced in that fandom, but it should be good, nonetheless. So, I will see you in 2 weeks for that review, because I'm going to be holding out for both parts of episodes to come out before I review them. Because, well, you don't get the full storyline in one part, so 2 parts is better off reviewing. And, see you later. Oh, I have to do the thing.